where I'm planning to create a uh, physical server to cloud machine. So for that, it is called an Azure migration. When a company moves its data, server, and application from their own computers, like on-premises to Microsoft Azure Cloud or AWS or GCP, this process is called Azure migration. In this, we have so many benefits. So I will explain that step by step. First, I will create a resource group for this. On West, West region US, we can review. See, I don't have any physical machine with me. So I am planning to create a server in Azure itself using Hyper V Manager. So I am for that I am creating a one virtual machine here. Just to create a, so I am creating a virtual machine for our demo. For migration, we have three steps. One is discover, another one is replicate, another one is migrating. Final stage is migrating. So for that, I'm creating a virtual machine here. Virtual machine minimum requirement is Windows 2000 any version. Minimum 4 GB of 4 CPU and 8 GB of RAM. So it is enough to do the practice. So I select the resource group as here the resource group is on finish. Naming convention as we no caps. Windows post available is no infra redundancy, no infrastructure redundancy, then standard only, and then it's I select from the version Windows version to migrate the server to create a server. In that server only we are going to configure the Hyper-V manager. You can select from here. So it is loading. Select option is there. From that we need to create a select the image. Have been selected 2019 server. Plus 2009 data center, generation 1. It's the naming conversion I'm giving this. Quickly on create, it is doing the validation. If validation passed, automatically server will up and run. The validation is running final only. But validation passed, so I'm creating this thing. So mainly companies will do the migration to no need any physical server to buy or maintain the physical servers. Pay only whatever we use. So for that reason, we are migrating the cloud. So and it is used to second point. It is scalability. Easy to increase the server and increase the servers as we need for this. Handling high traffic or workload automatically. If you configure that, it will automatically do. Strong security. Security reason we are moving there. One more reason. And backup and disasters automatically we can configure and recovery server if fails or data loss, because every time it will be copy and modern technology they are adapt easily. So for that reason we are migrating. I think deployment is in mid, so another 2 minutes it will be complete. Deployment completed. So I am checking the server right away. Several tools is there in Azure migration for different things. First one is Azure migration. Azure migration we can use for migrating the server and devices such whatever may be using the Azure server, Azure migration server database or application to the server. So we are using Azure migration. And Azure site recovery is used for replicating and lifting and shifting the migration of virtual machine. Azure database migration services, such like as a DMS, we shortly called as DMS. So for the DMS, we help to migrate like SQL Server, Oracle Server, MySQL, Pega, etc. Whatever application is there, we can able to migrate that. And Azure Data Box use large number of data transfer when the network bandwidth is limited. So and storage migration services also is there. It is called as an SMS. It helps to migrate the files, share and storage value to the Azure files or blocks. And the final one is Azure Arc, extended Azure management, governing the capacity to hybrid or multi-cloud. Let me log in the server. Yes, it is connected. Once it's connected, we have to configure the Hyper-V in this machine. So for that, I am going to configure the add-on features, Hyper-V management. So it will take another 10 minimum 10 minutes, not max that. Yes, server started, dashboard is in. Wait for a second. Add role futures, role based or future based installation. Server has been Windows. Role is hyperview. At the futures with configuration doing in a backend. That means predefining the, yes, now it is predefined. Second one, next hyperview, next virtual switching should be enabled with the virtual network hyperview network adapter should be enabled. Next the path should be common, default one only. Confirmation after installation, server reboot. Required means we do it. Yes. Installation start. Wait for a few minutes. It is mid. It completes soon. Server is rebooted. Wait for another 2 minutes to up the server. I think server is up. I log in the with password. Server connected. Wait for the dashboard. Pending installation will complete. Then we can download the VHD file because when we are going to the iOS is a dumb, it is compressed version of OS installation. So it's completed. That means the compression version is like an install the new server. So it will take a time to configure our work. So I will go with download the VHD file. So it is very easy to configure the server within a fraction of second, not a fraction, 1 or 2 minutes. So for that reason, I am going with the VHD. If anyone interested to configure and do that, means you can go with the iOS itself. Here the VHD file. So I am downloading. It will take another 10 to 15 minutes. It's not actual time. So During the migration, it will typically involve assess the existing infrastructure using Azure migration, defining the right migration stages such like an rehosting, refactoring, re-architect, and or rebuild, rebuild, and then executing the moving the using tool like an Azure site recovery or data migration services. That's what I told you, right? Tools. So that tools. So after migration, resource optimization, performance, cost, security using Azure monitoring, cost definition. For that reason, we are going that rehost, refactor, re-architect. These things I will explain me later. So I'm passing a video here. It will take a time. So I'm passing a video here. I think another 3 minutes it will complete up. So meanwhile, I'll configure the hyperview here. That means I will configure the Windows machine. So right click on the Windows host, new virtual machine. Next, naming conversion, whatever maybe you can give as per the company, that means industrial standard. We'll see. Oh, yes, 01. Next, generation 1. Next, minimum 1 GB of RAM. It's enough. Next, it should be connected with the Hyper-V network adapter. Next, here we have to show the path where we are downloading. Click to complete. Go with the browser. To show the path. Then download. Select this version. Next, summarize the finish. It will configure the Hyper-V machine. So I'm powering off here. After powering off the machine, we have to check it has been up and running. Connecting that. So just we have to configure here. Meanwhile, I'll create another resource group for Azure site RG to configure the migration here. So here I am creating another RG. Azure side RG with same STUS2. If you want to create any other region, you can create it, not a problem. After creating, we need a virtual network for this with subnet. So I'm creating that also. Virtual network. Because it should be associated with network. So for that I'm creating a Azure side VNet. Next, default. Next, appearance is default. I'm giving the name as default to Azure side subnet. Click on review. It's get ready. So here I'm creating it. Once created, we go for a migration, deployment starter. I think the deployment is in middle. I think deployment completed. Then I'm going for an Azure migration now. Creating a project. So creating a project. Azure side RG. Okay, we can give Azure migration today's date. We can give a geographic as being United States. So let's check. I want the geography it should be an United States. So let's check whether it is being created in a United States. Deployment started. So after this, I will show that procedure how to migrate the server. See here, I told you right. We have to follow 3 steps. One is discover, second one is replication, third one is migration. So before this, that means before replication, we need a storage location, default automatically created by default location. If we need any location, that means storage, we need a create by manual also, not a problem. But Azure will create automatically. So for that, we need a wait for 15 to 20 minutes of process. So project is created. So let's see. See here the migration, execute on migration. So I told you right. First one is discover for migration, replication, and migration. For the before, that means discovering the migration, we have to locate the where and recovery point. All the things will be configured here. That's what I told you, right? The discovering that other clouds such AWS or GCP for migration, we can select here. After the migration discover, we have to do replication. For the replication, we have to wait for a 10 to 30 minutes because it will create a backup for the server. Because if any failure or anything happen, means we can easily require from the which time it is failed, right? Before that, we can require it. Automatically it is not creating, so we have to wait for that. Let's discover it. Azure VM. Yes, it is a hyperview. So I'm creating West US. Confirm. Create the resource. It is initiating. Submitting the deployment. Here we will get 2 tools. One is wallet key wallet, and another one is Azure site recovery. That tool we have to install in the server, and in that we have to configure the key value. And that key value register that will map here and it will connect. After that, we have to give the final registration for the discovery. After the final registration, we have to wait 15 to half an hour. I told you, right, deployment completed. These 2 things we have to install in the Hyper-V. First I will download the Hyper-V Azure site recovery provider and equivalent. So it will download. Once it is download. So I will copy this to the server. Both I am copying and pasting this both to the server. See here it has been startup. So I am configuring the server. Just we have to accept it. Then give the password for admin. Next, it will finalize. Yes, server will be initiated. So we keep it. Just I am pasting the over here. It will take 2 to 3 minutes. So after that we will configure that. It's completed. So I am installing the site recovery provider. So recommended one on. Next, the path is default. Agent is starting installation. Once it is configured, we will give the valid key path. It automatically pick and register the key valid with the Azure and physical machine. So once it is mapped, automatically it will show in our portal to discover. This pure lab section, not be a theoretical part. See that continue register the server in Azure site wallet. So this showing here. See, have to show the wallet setting, that file where we have been downloaded. So here it is. Next, the proxy, without proxy we have to enable it. So I'm doing that. So it is fetching the data, all the things, and creating a certificate and configure the Azure site recovery between portal and this machine. That means with the host, like an ESCA or anything. So we have to wait for another 2 to 3 minutes. Once it is completed, we can check. The portal will automatically configure on. For time being, I will show you here where it will be. See, it will show one connected. If it is not connected, means we have to do the steps again from initial. For that, I come out from this. Yes, Azure local. Still, it is not found. Still, the final stage of installation is in progress. So we have to wait for it. See, initialization register started. Once the final registration is completed. Sorry, the server was registered in a thing. So I'm finishing this. Let's check it. What are you? So we got one connection. So I'm final registering this. Once the final registration, we have to wait for another 10 to 15 minutes. Once you start the replication machine after 15 minutes only. This reason I told you, right? Because that recovery provider should be created, and a default storage also have to create in this. For that reason only I am waiting for, we have to wait. See, deployment is in progress. Once the deployment is completed, the machine is ready for replication. The replication should be start after 15 to 20 minutes. It will take a 1 or 2 hours also in a general manner, but they are saying that 15 minutes. And I told you, right, that the things which we have to do, right, that we were seeing. Rehosting, the Azure migration staging are commonly discovered using five rules. Sorry, 4 rules. 5 rules they are saying, but we know about only 4 rules that are rehosting, refactor, re-architect, and rebuild. Fifth one is replacement. Rehosting, moving the application to the Azure with minimum or number of changes. Example like migration a virtual machine from on-premises to Azure VM. Refactoring, making a small modification to the Azure services without changing the core applications architecture. Example like moving a web application to Azure application services, or using Azure SQL or database instant of on-prem database. This is what we are doing, and re-architecting, redesigning the application to take advantage of cloud native features like scalability, container, or microservices or block. Example, the converting mobility application to microservices using Azure Kubernetes Services (AKS). And the final one is rebuilding, completely rewrite the application using Azure PaaS services. Example, build a new application using Azure functionality or logical application. The final one is replacement. Replacement, exiting application with a SaaS based alternate. Example like replacing an on-prem CRM with a dynamic 365 or Microsoft 365. Example, if you are having a Outlook, in that Outlook we want to migrate, means we can able to migrate from Dynamic 365 or Microsoft 365. So this reason we are doing the using these rules. So that the registration is completed. So I am closing here. I'm closing here. Just check that what is summary has been done. Discover. See, before that we have a discover, replication, and migration. Discover has been completed, so it is disabled. Now replication. So if you go and check that whether we can able to do that or not. See, if I give hyperview, continue. It will show mass agent version completed unknown further is Hyper-V loss retail sometimes. If I click also, it will show the server. It will show the server, but I click this one. Next I go means it will show our RGs also, but it will not replicate the storage value, the default storage value. So we have to wait for it. So I told you right, refactor the board of patterns, use refactor, re-architect or rebuild. These factors we have been doing here. See, if you want to refer this, you can refer it. They will give clear explanation about the cloud migration stages. See, I told you right, I waited for an 10 minutes, so I'm giving all the configuration server virtual machine, Azure VM, yes, Hyper-V, continue. So it will fetch the server from here. So we have to select, no, I have specified by manual. So the server is came. So next Azure side, RG, default one, Azure, VNet, subnet, no infra redundancy, Windows Server license, that's a confirm. If you want, you can disable also, not a problem. Just I am doing that. Next, here we have to Windows. All our remaining rest of the things has been same. If you want change the type also, we can change the type here. So I give a standard HST itself. Next, tag is doesn't matter. So now I'm replicating. So once replicating. You can see here that in the status we can see that server replication thing. So here the server enable the replication process protected to the server. See, we can see it. See the replication enabled. It will start another. See that the initial replication started. So we can see the status here. The percentage is once completed, we can do that. And the application is start. The percentage is completed. Application is completed. Synchronize with this machine and thing. Let me check. See, waiting for the first required point, I told you, right? So once it is completed, we can able to test, we can able to migrate the server. So we have to wait for another half an hour. Sorry, here we have to do one small correction. The first recovery point will be post completion of replication only. We have to wait for it. It will take half an hour. So I have been done the mistake. So I am clearing it here. Sorry for the inconvenience. Yes, that product has been completed. Let's do the migration. Yes, continue. We have it will show like this only status because we don't tested the server, right? So it will show that we do not shut down the virtual machine. Migration. Yes, it is started. Once it is completed, I will show. Start failure is starting. So waiting for it. Once it is completed, I will show. Migration completed. Let's check it. It's been configured in virtual machine or not. It's Azure Cloud VM. Yes, it is configured. So let me try. So here we have a final. So finally we have been done the registration. Sorry, migration. So here the server to connect and test. I use public ID instead of private ID. So it is being changed. See, the same server. Here I am logging with admin too. Admin login. So the migration is completed successfully. So you have any query, just ping in the comment. Thank you. So I completed my task. Thanks. Thank you. If you have any this is a server, you want Azure, you want okay, so you see here. Logging up. So